Hey, before we start this week's episode of the Cinema Lounge, I just wanted to step in real quick and apologize for last week. I had a video or a episode recorded and ready for last week, but once I put it out, I had someone reach out to me and tell me that there was no audio to it. So I sat down and watched it, and sure enough, there was no audio. So there was a problem with the recording, and I could not fix it. So I had to pull it down, make it private. So sorry there was no episode last week. But thank you to the 4 people who on YouTube who watched it within that first hour until it was taken down. You're the best. I love you for that, being on top of it. But yeah, just wanted to offer an explanation as to why there was no episode last week. So this week, this is the real episode 7. Last week was a fake. And I got lucky because it was just me last week. And in my opinion, it probably wasn't my best episode. So yeah, just wanted to step in and explain last week, just before we get started. This week we're talking about the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League movie that came out last week. Frank's coming back, and we had a good conversation. We got derailed a couple of times, but that's just kind of typical with a conversation with Frank, isn't it? But yeah, thank y'all for watching this. Let's go ahead and get started, right? Yeah, let's do it. Hello. Welcome to the Cinema Lounge podcast, where we just chill and we talk about movies. I am your host, Garrett Inman, and I hate technology. This is attempt number 3 to record this episode of the Cinema Lounge podcast. And after last week's technical fiasco and now this week's, I am just about fed up with technology. We're supposed to be in the great technological revolution, and yet the system I use crashes twice for no reason. And I get no response. Today we're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League that was released last Friday. It's so weird to go through this again, but let's hope this stays fresh. Joining me today, once again, this is my first returning guest. We got Frankie. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing good. You've asked me that 3 times. We've done this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gradually goes from good to not.
Yeah.
It's late at night. We tried this in the evening times, and we decided to take a break. You went outside. I had a friend over, and my friend and I pretty much just sat down. We talked about movies and TV. I recommended a comic book to him. Me and him are trying to get more into comics.
Yeah.
I recommended a comic book that I started reading 3 days ago called Invincible. Really good comic book. They have an animated show out right now on Amazon Prime. Today is Friday as of recording it. The first 3 episodes dropped on Amazon Prime. They are very good. It's a very bloody show. Very surprisingly gory. It's got this Spider-Man energy, but with this very dark edge to it, and I really liked it. But yeah, we did that, and then we watched. We got on a spiel about talking TV shows, and then we just started watching random TV show stuff. So we watched the Luke Cage intro, and then the Ben 10 intro, jammed out to that.
Ben 10.
Dude, that theme song. Oof.
That never gets old. It never gets old.
You can jam out to it. We watched just a compilation of clips from The Amazing World of Gumball.
Oh God.
He's yeah, I've seen clips from it and I've always wanted to see it. And I'm like, it's a funny show. But then they started, dude.
It's got some humor in it.
Oh, it's funny, but it also it starts to develop lore like halfway through and starts to serialize their story. So I'm sitting here, we're just watching Gumball, and I'm trying to explain the deep lore of the amazing world of
My
Gumball.
gosh.
Dude, you know it's late and I'm tired when I'm doing that kind of crap. So,
Yeah, same.
honestly,
Oof.
I hope that this works, that my technology, my computer does not freeze up again
I swear
for
I
the
will like
third
come to your
time.
house
I
and
will
crap.
cry. I will cry. But I will say this, recording late at night, this is the closest you're ever going to get to me being drunk. I'm probably never going to drink in my life, but when I'm tired, I'm kind of out of it. I'm fed up with everything.
Bro, I have a
And
friend.
I say some whack crap.
I have a friend that when she's like super tired, she acts all drunk. Like it's
Mm,
funny to watch.
yeah.
Like she's like not herself at all. I'm like, you haven't drinking anything yet, have you?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I don't drink. And I'm like, how are you drunk? She's like, oh, I got this thing where if I'm tired, I get all silly. I'm like, yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, that's kind of me. I have like stages to my um exhaustion, my tiredness. Like I'll start to feel a little tired and I still operate as normal. I can still kind of stay awake. My eyes get heavy and then I kind of get over it and then I have a second jolt and that's when I'm acting very just like loosey goosey and in borderline like I act inebriated a little bit and
Yeah.
say whack crap. And then there's my third stage of being tired, which is like, I don't know, it's this weird state of I feel like I'm not aware of my surroundings at all. Like I'm aware of things that are happening and I'm just like looking at it almost like I'm high. Like I feel detached from my body and I'm like I know crap's happening, but I feel like I'm not in control of any of it. So I'm just kind of going with the flow, uh, so to speak. And then my fourth stage is usually when I'm in bed watching a movie right before I go to bed, is me struggling to keep my eyes open, which where I'm like just bordering on I need to sleep. Like I cannot stay awake any longer. Where I'm just kind of like that.
Same.
For audio only listeners, I apologize for those weird noises. um, but yeah, that little tirade aside.
Kind of got off subject.
Hey, gotta keep it fresh, man. We didn't talk about this at all the last two recordings. Gotta
No.
keep our conversation a little bit fresh before we go over some of the same stuff we talked
It's
about.
late. Like we said, it's late, and we're just like vibing. We're just vibing.
It is the Vibecast.
Oh,
Dude, honestly, I should have named it that. Holy crap.
okay.
Vibecast? Where we just like stay up late at night and we just vibe? That. Holy
Sheesh.
crap, that's it. Hey, someone make that or I will steal I will do it and I will just make a second podcast.
Just
The
do it.
Vibecast. We're just like
take.
stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning. Like it's almost 1 right now. Just
Yep.
go to 1 o'clock in the morning, record a
Yeah.
podcast where we're just like vibing. Ooh. Someone make that.
It's like act like we're high, and we're just like, dude. It's
Yeah, we're just here,
yeah,
dog. Oh
yeah,
man, what are the
man,
mysteries of the universe? Wow.
dude. Oh my god.
But today or tonight, rather, I'm recording this. We're recording this 11 hours before this is supposed to be posted.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting. And hopefully my computer does not commit suicide like it has twice. Anyway,
Twice.
today we're talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, or better known as the Snyder Cut. A little background for you, a little history lesson. I'm going to do this a third time now. So, everybody strap in your seatbelts. We're going for a bit of a history ride. Welcome to Cinema History class. So, back in 2018, a movie dropped that was called The Justice League. It starred
Happy.
Ben Affleck and others.
Yep.
It starred the Justice League. It was not well received. It was objectively a garbage movie, and if you liked it, you should feel ashamed of yourself. In for legal reasons, that is a joke. But
The movie had troubled production. It was originally directed by Zack Snyder, Daddy Zack. Oh my goodness. Zack Snyder, who is known for doing movies such as The 300, which I've seen, I think is pretty good, and movies like Sucker Punch, which I have not seen, and I have heard is pretty bad.
And they're dark.
And they're dark and desaturated colorings and that kind of stuff. But he started off back, I think, in 2012, 2013. He started off a new expanded superhero universe with Man of Steel. And that kicked off the DCEU, or that's what fans called it. I think they just called it like the DC something universe. I don't know. They like called it something really dumb, and I don't feel like looking it up. So, we call it the DCEU. Everyone calls it the DCEU. That's what we're going to call it. And that kicked off the DCEU, which was a response to the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they successfully created an expanded universe of Marvel heroes where they can interact with each other. But with the DCEU, it sought to do the same thing. Zack Snyder sought to do the same thing. All of this under the vision of Zack Snyder. Something kind of a bit different, like copying Marvel, but like Marvel had a bunch of different directors working for them. So there was a couple different styles. A lot of it was more of a corporate style. A lot of them don't have distinct looks and feels to it. Like Ant-Man feels very safe. Most of the movies kind of after Iron Man 2 and then leading up to Endgame are very studio safe. I would say maybe 3, probably, right? 3 movies felt like distinct. The first Iron Man felt very distinct, with the heavy rock soundtrack, very more grimy, gritty feel. And then Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok has a very colorful, very vibrant feel, very unique cinematography.
I love Thor Ragnarok, bro. That movie
Such a good movie.
So good.
We'll get
Especially
to that.
The guy that runs that world, Weber, he's so weird.
Jeff Goldblum, man. Gotta love him.
I love him so much.
But, I guess to get back on track, this was under the united vision of Zack Snyder. Man of Steel, he then pumped out Man of Steel. First off, I will defend. I love that movie. I know it's it's divisive amongst fans, but I honestly thought it was really good. I get why people don't like it. It's more of like a gritty, like a dark version of Superman, and people don't particularly enjoy those. And I get that, but I liked it a lot. Batman vs. Superman came out. Not a good movie, I would say.
That was not a good movie.
Also one of my least favorite movie experiences. My dad and my grandpa and me went to go watch it, and like 30 minutes in, which was a slog, like the first 30 minutes in, the recording got messed up and cut out, like the past 2 times we've done this podcast episode. And we had to sit there for 30 minutes waiting for the movie to start back up. And I was like, wow, that felt like a long time. We're probably almost done with the movie. I checked the phone and it's like, oh, we're only 30 minutes in. We're not even halfway done with this piece of garbage.
Yeah, that movie was just...
I've heard the Ultimate Edition is good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
But BVS is not great. They turned Doomsday into a naked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle from the Michael Bay movies.
He was kind of scary looking. He was scary looking.
But, yeah, so that movie came out, was not as well received, but the Ultimate Edition was better received. I think it has its fans. Then Warner Brothers expanded outwards even more and tried their hands with Wonder Woman, which was a rousing success. I have gone on record a couple times of saying I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman.
No.
I know people love it. to me, felt too similar to Thor and Captain America. Like, they took Thor and then the first Avenger and kind of combined it, and it didn't really capitalize on the best of either of those movies. I'll probably do a podcast episode on Wonder Woman.
The new Wonder Woman movie doesn't look good. Like, I'm not gonna see it. I just don't think
I've seen it. Not good.
Yeah. If I do see it, I just want to watch Wonder Woman, dude. Yeah. She's hot. She's hot.
Oh my goodness.
She's hot,
Frank.
All boys want to watch it because she's hot, dude. That's like the only reason why boys watch it. They're like, what's her Gal Gadot? What's her name? Right?
Gal Gadot. I think I've heard it pronounced Gal Gadot.
It's pronounced differently or something.
I don't know.
Gal Gadot.
I'm very mixed on her as an actress. Like, I think she's had some good moments, but and I've seen this as a criticism before, but I kind of feel the same way. A lot of her acting just feels like she's doing a modeling gig.
Yeah, no, that's the point. She's hot.
Perfect. I mean, that's probably partially why. But I will say this: she physically looks like Wonder Woman. Like, she's been in. I think she's been in like the Israeli military, so she's got a bit of muscle on her, right? But she's still she's fit. She looks like I probably would get beaten up by her. I couldn't beat her up, but I don't particularly think she's that great of an actor. Especially the clip that will forever be associated with Wonder Woman is from the Justice League, where it's the Kal-El, no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! They kept that in the Snyder Cut, and I just died laughing, man. Why? Why do you keep that? Why do you keep that? First off, I saw somewhere. So the Justice League and the Snyder Cut, they each use different takes of Gal Gadot saying Kal-El, no. So she had to say this multiple times. And Joss Whedon goes in and watches the Snyder Cut and goes, yeah, no, that's not a good take. Let's do one of the one of the least good takes instead. It's so weird. Like, watching the Snyder Cut, you realize how petty Joss Whedon was in the reshoots, because he literally would go back and reshoot scenes that were already a part of the movie just to make them not as good. I feel like Joss Whedon probably didn't like Zack that much, so he's just like, I'm gonna take this dude's movie and kind of just, I'm gonna crap on it a little bit, you know?
I'm gonna take it from his point of view to my old crappy point of view. Like, I like it like this.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, back to the history lesson.
Yeah.
So then 2018, Justice League came out. Before that, 2017, they were working on it. Partway through shooting, Zack Snyder's daughter, Autumn, and I'm pretty sure that's her name, right? Just making sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Autumn tragically committed suicide. So obviously Zack Snyder had decided to take it upon himself to step away and take care of his family, take care of their mental health, his mental health. So the studio pretty much said, should we wait for him to get back, or should we hire some other guy to finish up? And because they like money, we're gonna hire some guy to finish up. So they decided to hire the guy who, look, on paper, this was a good idea. They hired the guy who did the Avengers to come in and reshoot some stuff and finish editing and all that kind of stuff. On paper, good idea. The Avengers is a good movie. I have my issues with it. I don't think it's perfect, not one of my favorite MCU movies, but is a good movie, and especially because of Joss Whedon's directing. However, for what Zack Snyder was going for, Joss Whedon is the exact opposite. Zack Snyder likes the gritty. He likes the desaturated, the dark, the blues and the grays. He likes these serious, gritty dramas with slow-mos and cool action set pieces. Joss Whedon likes bright colors, likes the bright, vibrant greens and the reds and the oranges, likes the quips popping off, fun chemistry. You know, you've seen the Avengers. Pretty much he likes that kind of stuff, that kind of flavor. and it does not mix well with Zack Snyder at all. They're polar opposites as filmmakers, like just the exact opposites. So obviously the movie came out as a convoluted, contrived, chopped up, like tonally conflicting mess. So thus, some people took notice of this and said, was this really Zack Snyder's original vision? And Zack Snyder was like, no, this was not my vision. I have the raw footage right here that I can make my own cut of it. Thus, people started to release the Snyder Cut.
It's better. It's so much better.
Dude, so much better. But,
Dude,
props to these people. We, after 3 years of online fighting for this director's vision to be made, petitioning over and over at Warner Brothers saying, we want this, we are the fans, and this is something we would like to see. So, and this is truly kind of fans and then artistic vision kind of coming together. It wasn't really about, we need to make sure this stands by the comics, because let's be honest, Zack Snyder's DC universe is not 100% in line with the comic books. It's not. This was more of a, we are fans of this guy and what he has created. We want to stand by him and his vision. So they came together and they got it done. Which, dude, this movie is such a cultural milestone in my opinion. This really shows how much power the fans have and how much they can really sway. Because, granted, I've heard some of the ratings aren't particularly good, but for the most part, I've seen the fans came out for this movie, showed up for it. They're the real people buying this stuff. They're the real movement behind this. And it's good to see a studio kind of recognize that, because I don't think that happens near enough. It happened with Sonic. With the redesign, which
design.
Kudos to them. First off, props to the special effects team and the art team, working overtime, putting your freaking heart and soul into that redesign. Granted, you designed that rat carcass first, but
you designed that thing first. I was like, you guys suck at your job. But when they redesigned it, I was like, okay, not bad.
Yeah. So you saw that with Sonic, but this, I think, just represents the next stepping stone in that of, fans coming together to back a director's vision, and we actually, hold up. I kind of have, the trailers playing behind me right now. You got it.
A few seconds ago, it was showing a horror movie on the trailer. It was like an ad or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. I looked over there, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's we call the Unholy or something. I was like, what is that?
But yeah, I mean, we got it done, and it's crazy. This movie, once again, important cultural milestone, but this has got to be one of the most controversy-filled movies that has come out. Just about every big release has some sort of controversy that comes with it. You had the whole Captain Marvel thing, and that spawned an entire YouTube genre of anti SJW, anti something or other YouTube channels. And sure, that was a thing, but I don't think it was a widespread controversy. Most people were just meh on Captain Marvel, right? And and there weren't a lot of people who came out and hated it. There was a few, but it wasn't like a we're going to go to war over this. It was just this movie wasn't great. Also, we don't like Brie Larson because of some of her comments.
I'm not a fan of Captain Marvel. I'm not really a fan of Captain Marvel, to be honest. She's
too
overpowered. Too overpowered.
So I grew up I was a very late bloomer superhero fan, but once I got into superheroes, and I'm more interested, or my introductory stuff was with the TV shows, the cartoons, and the movies. So my version of Captain Marvel was a dude. And I mean, granted, the first Captain Marvel was a guy. So in my mind, when I saw a Captain Marvel movie, I was like, all right, we're going to get this Kree warrior who comes in and falls in love with Earth and decides to protect it, almost like this Superman type deal. And I was super interested in it because he's now going to be torn between this place he's fallen in love with in his home planet, who are these conquering warriors, and instead we got Carol Danvers, who I know as Miss Marvel, who I think, if I remember right, she started a relationship with Marvel and got powers through an accident, and they decide to fight together. So, like, that's just kind of how I knew it, and it was just really strange to me, because I was like, but what about Marvel? You're just going to skip over him? So, for me, that was the strange thing. So I just never really clicked with it, and also, I just don't think it was that good of a movie. Like, I remember the big climactic fight. I was in the theaters, and it's like CGI Carol blasting stuff, and I'm just like,
cool.
Like, just, my mind was blank. My mind usually doesn't go blank when I'm watching a movie in theaters. It's happened maybe 3 times. Captain Marvel, Transformers The Last Night, and Suicide Squad. Those are the 3 instances in which my mind has gone blank, because I was being given empty nothings, essentially.
My favorite scene with Captain Marvel is in Endgame, when she got punched by Thanos and then got launched into like another dimension, bro. Like he freaking punched her like out of the picture. I was like, I clapped for a second there in the theater.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really liked her character. But to go back on track, Snyder Cut has gone through a lot of controversies.
Like in the first Justice League in 2018, 2017 or something, they were missing too many gaps. And I said this already, 3rd time take. They were missing too many gaps. Like, for example, when Superman got his memory back, in the original one, it showed like he just got it back immediately when he saw Lois. I was like, oh, that's kind of simple, I guess.
Yeah.
But this one, it shows him struggling and remembering things slowly, and that was it made me happy seeing that.
Yeah.
Like
it took its time to explain things. Granted, I mean, that is the benefit of doing a 4-hour cut, but it took its time to explain everything and made sure you understood the story. Where in Joss Whedon's cut, he just like goes, screw it, we're gonna cut that out. We're gonna get rid of that. But let's make sure we have like a solid 30 seconds of Barry Allen talking about brunch. You know?
Bro, Barry Allen and Cyborg in the original one, they were kind of pointless, to be honest.
Yes.
Like, they didn't have any important, like, scenes or anything. Like, the people that only did, like, all the work was, like,
Superman.
Batman and Superman. Yeah, Superman.
Just Superman.
Like, when Superman stood up in the... It was funny because they were, like, trying to fight Steppenwolf, but they were getting their butts whooped, bro. But then when Superman came back, he was like, all right, guys, stand back. I'm going to take care of this for you.
Yeah.
Like, he kicked his butt, Steppenwolf's butt, and then he also saved, like, the whole town, whatever. Like, he was carrying that freaking building, whatever, across, and he's like, oh, hey, Flash, pushing a truck. Good job.
You know, for all, like, the trailers literally, like, stress the unity aspect. And, you know, played the Beatles song, the Come Together Right Now Over Me. And for all of that talk, they did everything by themselves.
Yeah, they didn't fight together. Like, they were going their own ways and stuff. But in the Snyder Cut, bro, it looked like they were actually fighting together.
They learned to fight together and come together. Unite the 7. Yeah, no, they work together so much better. They managed to improve the characters. First off, Ben Affleck looks more fit now because in the Justice League, as we like to call it, Ben Affleck goes from being relatively fit, chiseled jaw to just kind of like fatter. You can kind of tell his
he looked fatter and like,
cheeks. He's kind of like barely fitting in the suit and like, I don't want to be here. Oh my gosh. I could be starring in a basketball movie right now. And you can tell he just did not want to be there. But in this time, no quips from Batman. He's all seriousness, just trying to like find redemption after inadvertently getting Superman killed. So they made him a lot better. This was the natural extension of the BVS Batman, I think. Still a little weird that he still has no problem using guns,
Oh,
or killing people, or at least threatening to kill people, and dropping F-bombs, which is something I never thought I'd hear Batman say. Like, he's an edgy dude, but, like, I would never picture Batman to say anything more than probably, like, the up, like, surface level cursing. I would
yes.
think the F-bombs would be reserved for, like, the Joker, Lex Luthor, even, like, heroes like even Wonder Woman, I would think would probably
Oh,
drop a
oh,
F-bomb before he would. Because
yeah.
Batman just lets his actions speak for him.
Oh, he's rich. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, it's just like, and that goes back to like Zack. This was clearly not like a comic book fan thing, because Zack Snyder's vision of Batman, like still like it, but it's not who Batman is. Like, Batman is all about vengeance, sure, and all about fear, but the dude never used guns and never tried to kill folks. That
He
was
has
his major thing.
like that's his major rule. Like never kill. Like
Never kill, and then I'm never going to use a gun because a gun is an instrument of cowardice. Because
yeah,
that's what killed my parents. Right? That was like a fundamental core characteristic of him, and that's something Zach kind of forgot about.
yeah. And in this one, he's got like 2 machine guns and a freaking missile launcher on his car.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah.
It like
He's,
that's just
like,
it's
around
so
like
weird.
It's like his little controller. He's like, I'm having fun in here. Whee!
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's very strange.
his view of Batman is so much different than like everybody's view of how they know Batman.
Yeah.
The past comics, like The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, like those great movies. They're so much different than this one. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Also, another cool thing I liked about this newer version is Steppenwolf. He looked so much better.
Yeah.
I think in this one.
He looked a lot better. Hold on. My camera just died, so I'm in the process of switching my camera view live from New York. It's Saturday Night Live. Just keep talking. But yeah, no, Steppenwolf was much better in this.
Like, he looked like just a regular dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, this looks like a random dude that's just wearing makeup, and I can't even tell if he's an alien or not. But in this one, he actually looks scarier and more intimidating, and yeah, he just looks so much better.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, like, his eyes are a lot more expressive.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because he looks more intimidating, but also now that his eyes are a lot more expressive, there we go. I'm back. The video's back up. You can't see me anymore, Frank, but
no,
the audience can. That's all that matters.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, like, his eyes are much more expressive. You can really kind of tell more of what he's thinking. It's funny. His face looks more like, I guess, emotional and more human that way, but the rest of his body's a lot more intimidating. Where in the original one, he's got the tiny little pupils where he just kind of. I'm doing the little signs. It's so weird now that I'm doing motions and you can't see it. But he's got like the no pupil eyes, and he like just stone faced, no emotion, no whatever. But he's like a scrawny dude, and just some guy.
Yeah. Like.
But but like this one, he's more expressive. He actually has proper motivation now, which I appreciated. He's not the best villain out there. Like, you still got like Thanos, the Vulture. I mean, even in the DCEU, Zod's a much better character. But at least this time he's got proper motivation where in some point in the past, he accidentally screwed over Darkseid. So now his entire goal is, I'm going to get the anti-life equation. I'm going to destroy these worlds so I can get back in his good graces. Like, he has a personal motivation, something that's driving him forward, something that's giving him purpose. And that's more interesting. And the other part of it, too, I remember the last time we tried to record this, where you talked about the Amazon fight. And that was, like, first off,
time.
Yeah, amazing action set piece, but also you get to see him struggle, like physical limitation. Yeah, like you have to make your villain, you have to make him intimidating, but it's also fun to see your villain try to overcome stuff. So you can almost kind of root for him, along with having a proper motivation, so you can kind of identify with him more as a character. Yeah,
In this version, it's more like the Amazons are actually trying their best, but in the first one, it looked like it was just too easy for him to get the first mother box from them.
yeah, where he just
Like,
kind of effortlessly goes.
yeah, it was like 2 or 3 minutes, and then he already got the first mother box. He's like, "All right, I'm out. Peace."
Yeah, see ya. Yeah, the Mother Box collection was so lame in the first one. Remember when he gets the third one? It's literally like they fight Superman, and then it's just, oh, by the way, Steppenwolf was here, and he got the third Mother Box.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But in this one, like, you have this whole drawn-out scene where Silas Stone tries to, like, keep it from Steppenwolf, but then he sacrifices his life in order to put a tracker on it. It's just, first off, it's good to actually see the villain, do the thing he's trying to do rather than him doing it off screen. Like, imagine if Thanos was trying to collect the Infinity Stones, and it's just like he collects the first two, and then he gets Gamora and leaves, and then he comes back in the last act and is like, "Oh, by the way, I got this stone by killing my only daughter, and now I'm gonna get this stone." Like, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no.
Like, if the villain's trying to accomplish something, it's kind of more important to see them accomplish it, or take steps towards that goal and not just do it off screen. But
another thing you said, I like how they added Cyborg's father into this version.
Yes.
Like, so much better, because I love the struggle of their relationship, because he blames his father for turning him into this, but then towards the end he kind of accepts who he is. Then he forgives him.
Yes. It's such an interesting character dynamic. First off, let me say, Cyborg probably, for me, the more I see him, like, I'm not a huge comic guy. I'm trying to get more into comics, like I said earlier. But I haven't read a lot. I think I could probably name all the comics I've read off the top of my head. I've read the giant-sized X-Men arc, where it's the second X-Men team and, like, the first the first 100 issues of that run. So way back in the day. The first, I think, 100 Iron Man comic issues. I have read the first 19 issues of Invincible, which I'm reading right now. Highly recommend, by the way. I have read one of the more recent Moon Knight runs, and I've read, I think, the first 15 comic books from Moon Knight's first ever run. Those are all the comics I've ever read. I'm trying to get more into it, and the more I read, the more I'm into reading comics, and I understand comic book culture, because comics are just such a fun media to kind of get invested in, because most of them are relatively short reads, mostly visual consumption, but it's just much different than the way movies and TV work. But that aside, Cyborg, probably one of my top 10 superheroes ever for me.
He's
because,
good.
I mean, I've seen him in this. He was in season 3 of Young Justice. He was in Doom Patrol, Teen Titans, and all of those. He's such a good character because of the core of who he is his struggle between being a man and being a machine. And then once you add Silas into that dynamic, it becomes much more interesting, because Silas is what made him that way. His father made him that way, which is super unique for a superhero in terms of his relationship with his parents. Because usually the parents are kind of these ideological, moral, like, I forget the word I'm thinking of, but they're these ideological, moral paragons of virtue, where the superhero looks up to him, and that's what they want to strive up to. Think of, like, Jonathan Kent for Superman, or they're just the catalyst to the superhero becoming a superhero with their death. Batman, a lot of others flashing away with the death of his mom.
Yeah. just straight up blames his dad for
Yeah.
everything. Like, he doesn't look up to him at all. He blames him for everything.
Yeah, like they are constantly in conflict. And I think the most interesting way I've seen this done is in Doom Patrol. Because the car wreck thing in Justice League, I wasn't a huge fan of because it was just kind of a freak accident. So in Doom Patrol, how Cyborg became Cyborg is Cyborg. Both of his parents were doctors, and I think that's a fundamental part of his character. But both of his parents were doctors, and he goes and confronts his mom about something. He gets mad and throws down a vial, which causes a lab explosion, kills his mom, or it mortally wounds both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he blames himself for the death of his mom, but then he finds out that Silas, his father, had the choice to save one of them. He could only save either his wife or his son, and he chose his son. And that's what causes the conflict there. And it's such an interesting conflict. I wish they kind of did that there, but it still works here, where it's this journey of Cyborg accepting who he is, and thus doing that, finding a way to forgive his dad. And it's just such an interesting dynamic. Cyborg becomes the heart of the team, unlike the original where he is just kind of there and brooding. At least with this, he gets to kind of have fun, gets to crack jokes a little bit. He gets to act a little younger than he is, than he's kind of portrayed. Because I don't think he's a teenager. I think he played football for a college, so he's about our age, I think. 20, 21, 22. Like, he's a young guy. And
he was going into college or something like that.
Yeah.
He was trying to get a scholarship or something.
Yeah, so he's a young guy, and he acts more like a young guy in this, who's still dealing with that, like, young person angst, which I feel like we all have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was vastly improved, and quickly now, like, my favorite character in this particular movie, I think. And then also they improved Flash quite a bit as well.
Oh, yeah. They made him actually important in this one, when in the other one, he only had like one job, which is like push that truck, and that's all basically he ever did.
Yeah.
But in this one, I love this scene where when they joined the mother boxes together and he had to turn back time to save everyone. That was a really cool scene. I like that.
Yeah, and to add to the fact they lost, right?
Yeah.
Like in the Justice League. Every time I say Justice League, I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm just going, Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League.
Oh my gosh, it's the Justice League.
Yeah, like,
but in the Justice League, Superman turns up and the fight's automatically won, so they have to, Superman's going to win easily, so they send him off so it's a more even match. But with this one, they're working together. They're struggling to fight, and then they lose. And Barry Allen's The Flash gets to save the day. And that makes him because earlier in the movie, I remember I was going, how are they going to make Flash important? Because every other character is fundamentally important to this story. You have Batman, who knows this is coming, so he's working to
join the team together.
Yeah, he's working to bring the team together. You have Wonder Woman, who, is an Amazonian who has guarded one of the mother boxes.
And she knows about the whole dark side, and she tells him about the whole war is already here.
Yeah, she becomes an exposition dump for a little bit, which I'm not a fan of, but, is what it is. Then you have Aquaman, who, first off, I think he goes through a nice little arc where he just does not care about anything. He doesn't want anything to do with the surface world or Atlantis. But by the end, he comes to realize, this is my world too. It's worth fighting for. But he's also connected to the Atlanteans, who also guard the mother box. So he has a stake in this as well. Then you have Cyborg, who literally is a mother box. And then you have Superman.
But he's problem for them.
Yeah, and then you have Superman, who's like supposed to be Earth's guardian. So all five of them have a purpose fundamentally going in to be a part of the story. The Flash is just like kind of this outliner. I was like, I don't really understand why he's here. And then when you get that moment, you understand he's here to save everybody. All these guys were here to have a stake and fight back because they understand at least some aspect of what's going on. But Barry gets to come in with the final save. And I think
Yeah.
that it
That was a
vastly
good
improves his
scene.
character.
Yes. Also, I love Superman's new outfit. He's wearing all black, bro. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I was afraid, like, at the end that Batman was gonna do, like, a one-liner or a punchline and saying, like, this, so, you're copying me now?
So,
Doing all black?
like,
So,
he lands next to him and just, all black.
like,
I
all
dig
black,
it.
too. I like it.
I dig it. But
I like Superman this one because he seemed darker in this one. Like, he was showing no mercy. Like, he was going all on
to
Steppenwolf.
like
He was
punch
shooting
after
lasers on
punch.
him.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he still like has a bit of his humanity to regain. I have a
but
couple thoughts.
how he burned off Steppenwolf's one of his, like, antlers or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that. I was
Yeah.
like, nice.
I have a couple thoughts on Black Suit Superman. First off, cool suit. I like it.
I like it.
But
Seems kind of evil,
it-
though.
it's like it doesn't really feel like it has a purpose. Like it's a cool look, and I get that it's referencing the Death of Superman comic book line where he dies fighting Doomsday, like in the movie, and then he comes back to life and he's wearing this black suit and has this mullet. Like I get that it's a reference, but like narratively, I'm like, he walks into the ship and he has all the suits to choose from, even the one that he knows. And he's like,
Wardrobe.
yeah. So I was
Dang,
like,
sheesh.
what is the purpose of choosing the black suit then? You've never worn it before. What?
Yeah.
Why now? Like, are you just like, are you going through something?
Bro, respect the drip, bro. He's got the drip. He wants to show Darkseid that he's not messing around.
Yep.
Like, sheesh.
Your
That was
boy
nice.
Superman, he's going through a lot right now.
Bro.
He's going through his emo phase.
I bet when he showed up, everybody was just going, sheesh, man. He's got the new drip, dude. He's got the Superman 20s, dude. Sheesh.
Dude just needs like a little comb over and just like this just nihilistic attitude of just
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, he's not routine like Batman.
Put on
He's like,
some
"Dad,
eyeliner. Just
me
like,
now.
the world sucks. Life
Bro,
is
he's-
pain. I guess.
Yeah,
I guess I'll beat this guy. But like, he's just
Whatever.
so annoying. You know.
Beat him and save the day like I always do. Respect the drip, bro.
What's the point in just anything? You know. I'm wearing black because I'm just going through a lot right now. You know. But you know, I think Superman was done a lot better here. I don't. Wonder Woman is the only one I wasn't like, yeah, I like her a lot in this. Just because a lot of what her purpose is to just dump a bunch of exposition on Bruce. Like she goes and finds this cave, and then she comes back and goes, "All right, history lesson," and then pulls a me. She pulls a me like 25 minutes ago, where she just dumps a bunch of exposition and goes, by the way, here's what's happening. Make sure you're taking notes.
Yeah.
So she didn't really feel like she would felt like a real character, I guess. And honestly, once again, this is just an overall problem I have with Wonder Woman in these movies. Is besides maybe the first one, she just doesn't feel like a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah.
She's just kind of there a lot of the time. Like even in her second movie, her whole thing is just, it's been 40 years since the love of her life died, and she still hasn't gotten over it. Like I get grief goes against people in different ways, but I would think at least 5 years would be enough time to kind of get over the death of a loved one. I don't know. Get over is probably not the, but be able to process through it and understand your feelings on it, not be hung up on it. Much less 40 years. You know, if I were to get married tomorrow and then my wife died, and then when I'm 60 years old, I'm still holed up in my room like drinking booze and going, I still miss her. I don't think I'm ever gonna be happy again. Like at that point, I feel like most people would be fed up with me and just annoyed. You know?
Oh, I'm like, move on, bro.
Yeah, at some point in your life, you need to be able to move on. And the fact that you haven't been able to in 40 years, you're hung up over a guy, which also, great woman empowerment message right there. But but
Is there like an unspoken thing between Batman and Wonder Woman? I'm like, just hit on him. Just like
so I think
like
they like exist in a romantic limbo. Because I think just because they have their own stuff going on, I mean, Batman has his stuff with Catwoman and then his various love interests in his own world. He doesn't really go after Wonder Woman. I think they've been an item before.
I would have, bro. You just go.
But it just, I don't know. I think he's too, most of the time his character is he's too married to his job. Not his job, but like to Law and Order.
Like the mission.
Yeah, like he has a one-track mind of I need to deliver justice, I need to uphold the law. Like he's the embodiment of law and justice, and that's all he's about. That's why he's never gotten with Catwoman. That's what's prevented him from getting with Catwoman. He genuinely loves Catwoman, but he never, apart from one time, never pursued a relationship with her because she's a criminal. That goes against the law, and his first love, his first priority is the law, and is justice. So it probably wouldn't have worked out. It may be an unspoken thing, but honestly I think they weren't trying to go for that. But yeah, that's all the characters they improved. Those, we had our main characters. We had Steppenwolf. First off, quick notice, I keep seeing it pop up back here. Quick little detail I liked is whenever Darkseid shows up in the hologram.
Oh, yeah.
Steppenwolf kneels before him. You see, like, he melts his armor away. Basically, like a physical representation of him going, I'm gonna make myself vulnerable before Darkseid.
Yeah, I'm sucking up to him.
I wouldn't say sucking up. I think it's legitimately like he either feels vulnerable in front of Darkseid or he wants to make himself vulnerable in front of Darkseid. I think he was genuinely loyal to this guy, which very strange choice. Considering like the very little knowledge I have of Apocalypse and Darkseid and Steppenwolf, Steppenwolf usually doesn't like the guy. Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle, and he does not like the fact that his nephew is in charge of the entire planet. He doesn't like that he's ruler, and constantly pushes back against that. So it's just a strange choice to make him into a lackey that's fully devoted to Darkseid. But, whatever you need to make your story work, I think it still works plenty fine in this movie.
And I also thought that Darkseid in this one, he wasn't as intimidating as I thought he should be. Like his
shoulders.
His shoulders.
Because he's sitting here like this, and like he can be intimidating like that, but you gotta, Darkseid's shoulders are like this. Hold up.
Yeah, like they're like
this. Just
I can't
straight
see.
out. Like, oh right, yeah. I completely forgot I turned off my webcam. For the listeners and for Frank, I held out my arms to try to extend my shoulders.
They're like really broad. He's a lot bigger. Like in this one, he seemed kind of smaller.
He's a little skinnier.
Yeah, he should be like the size of like a building or something. Like in the, he should be like bigger, like the size of Thanos, or maybe even bigger than Thanos.
Yes.
He should be that size.
I think canonically, the dude's like 7'6".
Oh,
so he's huge.
He's huge.
Like he's a full foot taller than me, which is insane to think about. I've only met like one person who's been a full foot taller than me, and I'll tell you what, I'm 6'4", and it is very strange to be standing next to people, and I'm looking up at them. I remember, like, I think it was my freshman year of college, and I walk in, I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of shorter people. A couple basketball dudes walk up behind me. I'm standing in line at the cafeteria, and one guy walks up next to me, and I just kind of like do a double take and kind of look up and just go like,
how tall was he?
Crap?
He
was a solid at least 7 foot, I would say.
I think I might know.
I do like a double take, and I look up, and I go, what the crap? And then I think his brother walks up on the other side of me, and I do another double take, because the dude's taller than that guy. And I go, freaking crap.
Is it Vanover? Could it be one of the Vanover brothers?
I have no idea. I've never met them before in my life.
they're brothers and they're both 7 foot and they're really tall. Like they both play basketball. They're really good.
But that's the only time in my life I have stood in between two guys who have completely dwarfed me, and it is such a new experience for me, and I love it. New experiences, y'all. Try them out.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean, overall, I enjoyed the movie. Oh,
I loved it. It was great. It was 4 hours long though, so
yes, I would
I
say
I
it
could get 4 hours
flows.
of my life back, but it was worth it to watch it.
Yeah,
I'll probably have to watch it again, but I'm happy I watched
it
it.
flows very well. And hopefully there's a sequel. There probably won't be, just because ratings I've
Then
heard aren't the greatest. And also, this feels like a one-off thing that Warner Brothers is doing, so they're probably not going to greenlight a sequel. But
Yeah.
it flows very well. I'm very bad about checking how long I'm going in a movie when I'm watching it at home. I watch a movie with the remote in my hand, going, I wonder how long I got. Oh, I got that long. All right. I
I
wonder
do
how
that.
long I got. I wonder how long. And I get very impatient doing that. And it's not like the pacing of the movie's that bad. It's just I'm a
How
very twitchy person. I have to be like, if anyone watches the video for our podcast, they might notice that I tend to grab crap a lot and just mess with it while I'm talking. So like right now I have a stylus in my hand. I have a bad habit of grabbing my camera's lens cap while I'm
Like I'm mostly just moving around. Like I'm
yeah
fixing my hair most of the time in
yeah
this, and
I'm
I'm
a
like sitting up because I cannot stay in the one spot for like hours.
yeah
I have to move a little bit.
I'm a really bad fidgeter, but that is to say, I've checked the movie's time maybe. I was sitting there, I was like, oh wow, we're still in exposition. That's crazy. I wonder how long we're in. And it was 52 minutes. Oh wow, go. Holy crap. This is well paced. I thought we were maybe 20, 30 minutes into this. And then I was sitting there a little bit more and I go, I wonder how long we're into this now. We're in like part 3. 2 hours. I was like, holy crap. Like I was
I got
expecting it to be a
4 hours.
slog those first 2 hours, but they went by really fast. And then once the action kicked in, it was a 1-2 punch of just like really good pacing. There's some scenes that I think were unnecessary, like Barry Allen meeting Iris West was just
Yeah.
completely narratively
Oh,
unnecessary.
yeah.
The
Then
bank heist, while I think it was a solid scene, I still think it was unnecessary to the plot.
that scene where it showed Batman going to that a village up north, and those ladies just started singing when Aquaman
Yes.
started going to the water. I was like, why
Yeah,
are you
there were a
singing?
couple of scenes that dragged too long. Like some of them were necessary, like when the Amazons were shooting the arrow. That's a
Oh,
necessary scene, but it took
yeah.
5 minutes to do it.
Yeah,
You didn't
I was
need
like,
that 5
pull the
minutes.
arrow out and pull the dang, like pulled it back and just launch it, bro. Just
We
come
don't
on,
need to watch the whole
like,
ceremony. We just need to see. All right, they started it and then they ended it and then they shot the arrow. You
just
know?
light it and launch it. You don't have to say like speak into it, hold it up, and just say a prayer over it, and
Yeah,
just launch it.
some of the individual scenes were not very well paced, but for the most part, it flew
It was
by.
good.
And then it
Yeah.
started to drag those last 30 minutes when we have 30 minutes of post-credit scenes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, like,
Oh
that
my
was
god.
so unnecessary. First off, bold of you to assume you're going to get another movie, Zach. And I'm pretty sure he just did that to, like, look, all respect to Zach. I'm so happy this movie was made. I really enjoyed it. I know
Mhm.
there's Snyder fans out there who pile on to everyone. I know that's not all Snyder fans, but I've seen it happen where anyone expresses any sort of negative thought about this movie in any way. There are people who dogpile onto you. Like I most of the time I'm very skeptical about people going, there's a hate group or a hate community within this group or whatever, and I get that it's not representative of everyone, but I'm stipulating this because I'm about to say, dude, like, you got your movie. Good job. I'm happy for you. But
Yeah.
why the crap did you need to add 30 minutes of post-credit scenes assuming you're going to be able to make another one? Like,
Yeah, like
the fans would really have to show out for you, and especially when you release it on a streaming service. When you release it on a streaming service, it's really hard to gauge the amount of money a company's going to be making from that. If they put it out in theaters, you got the box office. But with this, you have to kind of count the number of streams, how many people signed up specifically just to watch this. And it's so hard to gauge that. So it's very bold to assume you're going to get a sequel to this.
Yeah.
And
Bro,
especially,
like,
dude, come on. 30 minutes of plot, like,
facts.
post-credit scenes. That just...
Dude.
First off, they weren't even, like, after the credits. You could have rolled the credits after the whole, like, after Cyborg listens to his father's tape. That's such a good moment to end the movie on.
No, like, yeah, just stop it right there. But no, you gotta,
Stop
like...
right there, have the credits.
Okay, another point in this character was Martian Manhunter. Like, he's in it, like, twice, and that was it. Like...
There was literally no point. He was there pretending to be Martha for whatever reason to talk to Lois. And it was a good... Look, I will say this.
Martha. Like, that's just weird.
I will say this. It was a good Martha and Lois scene, but then they go, by the way, it was Martian Manhunter all along. Oh,
I was
by
like,
the
what?
way, he was Captain Swannick all along. The only reason I know the dude's name was Captain Swannick was because I looked it up on IMDb. Like, if you're a casual viewer, you're not gonna recognize this guy. Captain Swannick was in Man of Steel and in
he was general.
BVS. He was a general. Most people won't recognize him because he wasn't that prominent of a character. He was there for a few scenes, but people are like, the reveal is like, oh, he was this guy all along.
Even though that was like how many movies ago? Like that movie was made like how many years? Like dude.
That reveal is based on the assumption that people are gonna recognize this minor character.
They should have showed that in Man of Steel that was Martian Manhunter, but no, just add it in the freaking movie. Like that's so much long. Like come on.
Well, no, I wouldn't mind if they didn't. Like, I'm fine they didn't show it in Man of Steel, but make the guy, like, a very prominent character that's constantly interacting with Clark. Now, granted, I haven't seen Man of Steel and BVS in a while. I think, if I remember right, Man of Steel, Clark gets a couple of scenes talking to the guy. But especially in BVS, the dude's kind of there at the end trying to make a decision to bomb Superman. And if you're really going to build this guy up to be the Martian Manhunter, build up the relationship between him and Superman, first of all, to make that conflict much more painful. But also, give him more scenes so he's more memorable as a character. Like, it's the same thing with, like, murder mysteries or Scooby-Doo mysteries, right? Where some of them, it'll be... I remember the old Scooby-Doo show, the Scooby-Doo Where Are You? First
that was
the
show.
I mean, that show slapped, but the mysteries were trash. Some of the mysteries were trash. Like, the first couple...
I saw that in the first 10 seconds when I saw the person. I was like, it's definitely them.
Yeah. First off, because they behave really weirdly. But the thing is, some of them were just trash because there was literally one suspect it could have been. It's like they meet one guy, and then they spend the rest of the episode being chased by the monsters. Like, literally the only guy it could be is this person. And then sometimes they would pull the rug out from under you and go, well, actually, it was this guy. And it's like... who the crap is that? I don't even remember who that was. Well, don't you remember there was a painting of him in the first scene of the episode? That's not satisfying at all. That's kind of how I feel about this, that's not satisfying to know it was Captain Swannick because I don't remember who the guy is. If I have to look up who the character is, you didn't make the character memorable enough for the reveal to be fulfilling at all. So I completely agree. Martian Manhunter's inclusion was unnecessary.
And he wasn't even right. Like, he just showed up at the very end. He was like, hey, Batman, I'm Martian Manhunter. And he was like, who the heck are you? Why are you at my house at, like, 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
It would have been a nice post-credit scene if he wasn't in the movie, like, before that. If he just kind of shows up and then... or, like, even if it was Captain Swannick knocks on the door and goes... Bruce, I have something I need to tell you about. I've been keeping an eye on you. Also, I'm a Martian. Reveals himself and goes...
like, shits himself into Martian Manhunter.
Goes like, or even if it's like, I've been hiding for so long, but after what happened, I feel like it's time for me to step into the light. Pretty much, like, he's inspired to become a superhero. That would be cool. That would be something of consequence. Something noteworthy. But instead... we see him halfway through the movie for no reason, and then at the end he just shows up and goes, hi, I'm here, and I've been watching you. you don't need to know my name. I've gone by many names. And then before he leaves, it's just like, but some have called me Martian Manhunter.
He just flies off. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
stupid.
like, come on. Like, really?
The
That's
Batman
how we're
looked
gonna
up.
do
He
that.
was like, "Who the heck was that guy? Where have you been?"
Freaking Bruce was just like, he looked at his coffee and was like, gosh dang it, I put some drugs in here again.
Yeah, he was like, am I dreaming?
I mean,
It'll be
he's
funny if,
prone to
like,
dreaming a lot.
that would be funny if you just poured it into the grass or something, and he's just like, I've had too
Yeah,
much.
just like, yeah, I'm going sober. But,
Facts.
I mean, honestly, that probably what could happen. But then you also have the scene where the repeat post-credit scene from the original Justice League, where Deathstroke shows up and has a conversation with Lex Luthor. And this is a little different, where Lex Luthor goes, hey, Batman is Bruce Wayne. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, crap.
I was like, wow. I was just like, why? Like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
also, like, okay, this is actually setting up maybe, I don't know, a Batfleck movie, even though we're never getting one of those. But also, then
fighting Deathstroke, that would be kind of cool to watch.
yeah, but also then the very next scene is in the future apocalypse, and Batman and Deathstroke are working together. So it's like, well, I guess we solved that.
Well, I guess they're gonna be friends in the future. Good for them.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm so
Well,
glad.
it was a dream. It was a dream, but I guess, yeah.
I think
but
they're treating it as true visions, because we also had that version of future version of Barry Allen coming back to Bruce. So I think they're very heavily implying that this is going to be the future. Cyborg has a vision of this exact same thing, and the whole like Lois is the key people have been complaining about. Like, Lois didn't even do anything in this movie. After seeing the post-credit scenes, I think it's very clearly obvious that, first off, it's Barry from that time period saying Lois is the key. Also, the fact that it's evil Superman. This is the Injustice storyline. The Injustice comic books, the Injustice video game, which literally happened because Joker tricked Superman into killing Lois. And that's what triggered him into becoming a dictator. He kills Joker, and that's what sparks all of this. So Lois is the key in that. Lois's death caused Clark to become unhinged. I think that's clearly what they're going for.
Oh, yeah. By far.
But, yeah, and you have villains and heroes teaming up to take Superman down. Like, it's to me, it's very clear, like, that's where they're headed with this.
It's funny because I'm like, you guys are not going to beat them. Like, the people that were in there, like Batman, Joker, Deathstroke, Flash, and then, like,
Cyborg,
Mira. I'm like, you guys are going to beat him. Like, he literally fought you guys once when he's
already beaten, like, half of y'all.
Yeah, when he got way back or before that. Like,
the ones he's beaten are your strongest players.
Yeah, Mira, he can literally just slap her across the face. And just...
I will say this. Mira might hold more of a chance than you give her credit for. Her hydrokinesis is pretty powerful, and I'm so glad... I was going to mention this, and I'm so glad you brought her up, because I forgot. When she fought Steppenwolf, I was so happy to see...
yeah.
Where she actually draws the blood out of her.
That was
cool. Because that's something she can do. I remember I've seen a couple of panels where she does that. Like, that's something she can theoretically do, because we are 70% water, so she can just... if she wanted to, just pull all the blood out of you and just kill you instantly. Like, first off, what a dope power to have, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, that's
cool.
such a cool power to have. Such a unique thing to be able to do.
Like, control water, like that is just...
And I was so glad to see it in a movie. To see her do that to Steppenwolf. Once again, another point of Steppenwolf struggling to get what he wants.
Oh, yeah, Mira. Like, and I loved in this one because Mira was putting up a fight, and then in the first one, he was just like, I got the mother box by, and he just straight left. But in this one,
fight. Also,
this
really
fighting.
Really clever set piece as well. Like, using the hydrokinesis to their advantage, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And basically using that water environment really well, where Steppenwolf's swimming upwards, so they just drop the water levels, and he just goes crashing down.
Then she pushed the water to him, and that was cool. I was like, nice.
Yeah, that was a really cool action set piece. But back to this like futuristic thing. First off, I just think it's pointless. Like, why do you continue to include this kind of stuff? Because you've had it now in Batman vs Superman twice, I believe. You've had it in this movie 3 times. What is the point? Like, I get that you're trying to tease up this big storyline. First off, we just had the Justice League fight Superman in this movie, and they lost.
Yeah.
So what are they gonna do now that only two of the original members, or three of the original members, sorry, are fighting, and then one of their wives is fighting, and then a dude with a gun, and then a crazy clown man? Like, what was that gonna do?
Yeah, like, come on.
It's
It was
and
pointless.
also, like, this isn't something that gets me excited, because first off, we've seen it before, but also, like, how are you going to build towards evil injustice Superman? And, like, how is that something I see as, oh man, I'm going to get excited? What worked with Thanos is that, A, they built him up slowly. It wasn't like, Iron Man 2, suddenly Thanos just steps in while Tony Stark's sleeping and is like, hey, I'm Thanos, I'm coming. No,
Yeah.
they didn't do that. They waited until the first Avengers movie and just showed us a glimpse of who he was. And then the next time we saw him was Age of Ultron, where he goes, fine, I'll do it myself. And then Guardians of the Galaxy. And then I think he was in one other movie after that. And then Infinity War. Then Endgame. Right? They built him up. It wasn't like, oh, by the way, we have weird dystopian world. By the way, we have weird dystopian world. By the way, another instance of evil Superman.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but we kind of already... If you know anything about the comics, you pretty much can already guess what this is. So the whole mystery is just kind of pointless.
It is, yeah.
Well, yeah. You got anything else to say?
Nah, bro, I'm getting kind of tired.
Dude, honestly, I'm hitting my next stage of sleep. I've just noticed we're about to hit the hour 10-minute mark, and also the audio in my headphones just kind of popped a little bit, and that was a sign last time that the computer was gonna freeze up on me. So, I think it's about quitting time.
Yep. Yeah.
So in conclusion, really good movie. Glad it happens.
What would
good.
you rate it? What would you rate it, bro?
I think I'd give it a 7. Like
7 out of 10?
Yeah, I think it was really good. Like, that's a passing grade.
I give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. That was a good movie.
It was good, well paced. There's just like, because Zack didn't have to cut anything out, it left a lot of pointless stuff in, and no one was allowed to come in and like re-edit it to make sure it was proper good. So,
yeah,
there was that whole thing. So,
yeah.
Besides that, vastly improved. I would give the Justice League. The Justice League. I'm gonna call it that from now on. The Justice League. I'm gonna say it exactly like that too. The Justice League. I probably shouldn't say that as loud. My family's probably woken up. But yeah, that I would give like a 3 or 4. There's a couple of good scenes I think that Joss added. I like the whole if you can only save one person moment. That was really good. Although I think the overall execution of the Snyder Cut of that scene is a lot better, where they just immediately set into action and just start saving people, focus on saving the people, then fighting Steppenwolf, once again working together as a team. Works a lot better, but I really liked that moment, and I kind of wish we got it, but it's like one thing. But besides that, the Justice League was a mess, train wreck. Snyder Cut, good. To make myself sound like a dummy, a dumb person, I'm just gonna. It was the Chad Snyder Cut versus the Virgin Justice League.
That's how bad it was.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'd give it a 7. You said you'd give it a 7 or 8.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, really.
Original, I give like a 2 or 3. That's how bad it was.
I like solid movie. I still think Man of Steel is my favorite overall.
That's a good one.
But
I like the Dark Knight and like the Batman Begins movie.
Dark
So this
Knight is one of the best movies ever made, hands down. Don't at me.
Yeah. If someone says they hated it, tell me where they live, and I will make sure that they rethink what they said. I swear.
For legal reasons, that was the threat. That was actually a threat. He's legitimately threatening your life.
I will threaten him with a hug.
I'm making sure the police come to your house, Frank. You're going under the investigation.
Let them try to stop me. I dare them to stop me.
But yeah, if you don't like Dark Knight, you're wrong. It's your opinion, but it's your wrong opinion.
You're just an idiot if you think it's bad.
Your parents are disappointed in your life decision.
Yeah.
That has become my insult now whenever I play games online and I get mad. I don't know if it's worse than just like normal name calling, but I get mad and I just yell, "Your parents don't love you. They're disappointed in your life decisions. Yes. I hope your mother is disappointed in everything you've done today." And I don't know if that's worse because it cuts deeper or if it's better because you're not calling them just dumb names. I don't know.
I hope you get bullied in school tomorrow.
I hope your life is unfulfilling and you don't get your dream job. I hope you fill out an I hope a guy approaches you tomorrow, offers you your dream job, and then rejects you after leading you on for 6 months. That'll teach you to beat me in Call of Duty.
Yes. Or if I killed him, I would just scream, "Get out of my game!"
I'm gonna tell my mom. Oh my goodness.
If the mom gets on the mic, I'm like this, "Oh, I'm sorry that I kicked your son's butt in Call of Duty. He's so trash."
Oh my goodness, that's how you get in trouble right there. Alright, yeah. Good movie. Shoot, I need to figure out what I'm talking about next week. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna cut back to myself because I don't want you in the screen anymore. Thank you, Frank. Man, I hope you have a good night, man. I got some work to do to get this set up and out. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching me, only me, not Frank. Screw Frank. He's gone now. No one likes him anymore. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Cinema Lounge Vibecast edition, late night edition. If y'all enjoyed this, please let me know, either by texting me if you personally know me, or leaving a comment or review or something. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening, watching. This is the Cinema Lounge podcast. You can find us anywhere you can listen to podcasts, whether that be Spotify or Apple Podcast, or if you're a nerd and listen to anything else. I don't mean to offend you by saying that, but I can't even think of any others. You got Stitcher, you got Google Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can listen to me either be very tired or be very awake, talking about random crap, talking about movies. If you want, watch us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, press that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and your thoughts on the show, whether it's good or whether you're wrong. But yeah, this has been the Cinema Lounge podcast. We have talked about the Snyder Cut tonight. Join us every Saturday at noon p.m. That's a weird way of framing it. I don't care. I'm super tired. But thank you for listening, watching, doing everything, helping us out. Everything helps. Please share this podcast, by the way. This is such a messy outro. I don't care. Thank you for listening to the Cinema Lounge podcast, where we just chill and we talk about movies. I have been your host, Garrett Inman, and we out this thing. Love you all.